Hey, you use Swiggy, you use Zomato, but here is the thing. One of these app is quietly wasting your time. And you don't even noticing that. You simply open it, scroll. And somehow you are still not sure what to order. So that is not your fault. That is a design. These apps are not just showing you food. So they are controlling how you choose. So what you see first, what you feel like eating, so how long you stay. And once you see this video, you won't be able to use these apps the same way again. Hi, I'm Rambal, 25 years in UX and product design. And today I'm going to break down Swiggy vs Zomato, and I'm going to show you which app respects your time and which one is designed to keep you stuck. And to understand which app actually respects your time, you need to understand one thing first. So these two apps were never built for the same purpose. See, probably it might look like a similar in today's scenario. It shows the same restaurants, the same food, same deliveries, but the thinking behind them, right, is completely different. So, and that different is exactly why one feels faster and the other keeps you scrolling. So, before I compare the apps, let me show you something most people don't know about it. So, how these two companies actually started. So, because once you see this, every design decision you are about to see will suddenly make sense. So, let's go back to 2008. 2008, the beginning. So in the year is 2008, there are two IIT Delhi grads. So one is a Deepinder Goyal, another one is a Pankaj Chadha. So they are working at the Bain and Company in Delhi. So it's a consulting firm. So they noticed something very interesting. So in their office, they have the collection of menu items from the different restaurants. So all the restaurants are located nearby area of the office, and it's been available on the pantry. So each and every day, the lunchtime, there is a crowd around those menus. So the people are fighting to look at what is available, right? So that is when the idea hit them. So what if we put all these menu items in online? It's not a food delivery, just menu items. So that was the original idea. 2010, Zomato launches the Google for restaurants. So in the year 2010, they launched first as a foodie bay. So then only they are going to rebrand it as Zomato, and they had a very clear positioning statement. They said we are the Google for restaurants. So think about what that means. So during those period, Google help you to find the proper or appropriate information. So Zomato also wants to help you to find where to eat. So the product was a discovery engine or something like discovery platform. So they are going to list the restaurants, menus, photos, reviews, and ratings. No delivery, no logistics. So just here are the restaurants. You go figure out the rest. So in the year 2012, the mobile revolution changes everything. Then 2012 happened. So that year is about Android 2.1 emerging into the market. Smartphones become affordable for the Indian middle class, and people's behavior also started changing very rapidly. So they were no longer sitting at a desktop to look at for the restaurants. They were lying on the sofa, looking at their phone, thinking, I am feel hungry. What should I order? So the behavior shifted from I will go out to eat to I want to food to come to me, right? And suddenly a whole wave of food tech startups emerged trying to catch this shift. Food tech startups, something like a Tiny Owl, Food Panda, Dazo, even Zomato started exploring delivery. But all of them had the same basic model. So we connect the customer to the restaurant through our apps. That's it. So you call the restaurant, they deliver, or the restaurant's own delivery boy comes. So 2013 to 2014, the problem nobody wanted to solve. But there was a massive problem. So, and everyone was ignoring it. So restaurant owners were getting flooded with orders through these apps. But most restaurants, especially small ones, they don't have any delivery system. So their cook was cooking, their cashier was billing, and supplier was servicing at the table. So nobody was set up to deliver to 50 addresses a day. These apps were creating demand they couldn't fulfill. So they solved the customer's problem. but they created a nightmare for the restaurant. So orders were getting delayed, food arrived cold, and the delivery boys also finding difficulty to find the locations. So customers complained, restaurants got very bad reviews, and one by one these apps started struggling. So Tiny Owl, so which was very popular in Mumbai and Pune, so burned through investor money, couldn't crack the logistics, and eventually shut down their operations. So Food Panda, huge in the early days, sold off to Ola. So after losing the delivery war, 2014 Swiggy enters with one different idea. In 2014, Sri Harsha and Nandan Reddy and Rahul Jamini launched Swiggy from Bangalore. So they looked at the same market, same restaurants, same hungry customers, same smartphones. But they asked a different question. What if we don't just connect the customer to the restaurant? What if we own the delivery ourselves? So this was the insight that changed everything. Swiggy said, a restaurant is good at the cooking. So it is not a logistics company. We will be the logistics company. So they build their own fleet of delivery partners. They control the last mile. And suddenly, the promise of 30-minute delivery was actually possible. Not because the restaurant was fast, but because Swiggy controlled the movement of food from kitchen to doorsteps. Zomato watched this, and in 2015 they launched Zomato Order, so their own delivery product, so with their own logistics. They pivoted from being a discovery platform to being a delivery platform. So now, why am I telling you all this? Because everything I am able to show you in this UX comparison, every design decision these apps have made. So traces back to this origin. So Zomato started as a discovery product. That DNA is still in every screen they have designed. So Swiggy started as a logistics product. That DNA, speed, efficiency, reliability is in every screen they have designed. So the design is not random. The UX is a direct reflection of the company's founding belief about what the product is for. So that is the single biggest lesson you can take from this comparison. All right. So now let's go into the apps themselves. So before I start the comparison, so let me quickly explain what I mean by UX. So UX stands for user experience. So, but forget about the technical jargon. It simply means how does it feel to use something. So think about the last time you walked into a well organized supermarket. So you found what you wanted in a very quickly. So the billing queue was very short. So you left without frustration. So that is a good UX. Now think about a shop where nothing is labeled. The queue takes forever. The shopkeeper ignores you. That is bad UX. Same product, completely different experience. Swiggy and Zomato sell the same thing, food delivery, same restaurants, sometimes even the same food. But the experience of using them, the UX is very different. And UX is the reason you open one app and not the other without even thinking about it. So I'm going to compare both apps on the 5 UX criteria. So number one, onboarding. So how easy is it to get started? Number two, search and discovery. So how fast do you find what you want? So three, ordering flow. So how smooth is the path from craving to checkout? Four, error handling. So what happens when something goes wrong? Five, trust and communications. So do they make you feel safe and informed? Let's start with the first time you open the app. Swiggy asks you to set your location first, then it shows you food. The flow is very logical. So tell us where you are. We will show you the restaurants and what is available. So Zomato goes a different route. So the home screen is more visual, more colors, more categories, more personality from the start. So now from a UX perspective, which is better? Swiggy's approach is more functional. It gets you to the decision faster. So less visual noise. Zomato's approach is more emotional, so it is designed to make you feel something before you even search. So the food photography, the collections, the mood-based browsing. So Swiggy treats you like someone who is hungry and needs food now. Zomato treats you like someone who wants to be inspired to eat. So neither is wrong, but depending on your intent. So Swiggy wins for the speed, Zomato wins for the browsing. So this is where the real difference shows up. So now I am going to search for something very specific. So here is Swiggy's search is fast. The autocomplete kicks in immediately. So the results are very relevant. So filters are easy to access. So under 30 minutes, vegetarian ratings. So when it comes to Zomato search, it has a one feature Swiggy doesn't. It remembers the context. If you searched for biryani last Tuesday, it surfaces that information. So it learns from you. But here is a UX problem I noticed on Zomato. So when you scroll through search results, the filter bar disappears. So you have to scroll all the way back up to change a filter. So that is a tiny friction, but in UX, tiny frictions are what make people abandon. So Swiggy's search is more consistent. Zomato search is more intelligent, but less predictable. So this is the most critical UX moment, the path from I want this to order confirmed. In UX, we call this the critical path. So every unnecessary step you add here costs you orders. And both apps, they know about this. So Swiggy's checkout is clean, address, payment, confirm. Three decisions done. The cart summary is visible at the bottom as you browse. So you don't lose the context. But when it comes to Zomato's checkout, it has more upsells. So before you confirm, it suggests the add-ons, drinks, desserts, more revenue for Zomato, but more friction for you. Swiggy optimizes for your time. Zomato optimizes for order value. As a user, Swiggy feels faster. As a business owner, you want Zomato's approach. So this is actually a classic UX with business tension. So and both apps have made a deliberate choice about which side they lean. So this is the one most people never think about. But in UX, error handling is where you see the true design maturity of a product. So good design is not about just making things work. It's designing for when things go wrong also. If the restaurants are unavailable, payment is failed, delivery is getting delayed. So how does each app handle these moments or the situations? So Swiggy's error messages are functional. It's clear, it tells you what happened and what to do next. Zomato has started doing something more human. So their cancellation flow, a little animation, the tone of message, it's designed to make you feel okay about something going wrong. So they even inject a little humor into delay notifications sometimes. So your order is fashionably late. So error messages are a conversation. So Zomato is having a better conversation here. The last criterion, trust. So do these apps makes you feel safe? Swiggy's live tracking is excellent, granular. So you know exactly where your delivery partner is, who they are, their name, their rating, right? So everything you can able to see. So this transparency builds the trust. It reduces the anxiety of waiting. So when it comes to Zomato also have the live tracking, but they have added one feature that Swiggy hasn't fully matched. Zomato Pro's visual communications of your perks. So every time you open the app as a pro member, it is very clear what you are getting. The UX reinforces the value. So trust is not just about security, it is about reducing the anxiety at every step. Swiggy does this better in delivery, Zomato does it better in the membership experience. So which app has better UX? So let me give you my verdict as a UX designer. Swiggy wins on functional UX. It is faster, more consistent, less friction in the critical part. So if you want to order the food quickly, Swiggy is the better designed product. Zomato wins on emotional UX. So it is more visually rich, more personality driven, better at making you feel something. So if you want to browse, discover, or feel like food is an experience, Zomato has invested more in that. Swiggy is designed for people who know what they want. Zomato is designed for people who want to be told what they want. So neither is wrong. So they are targeting slightly different user states, and that is a deliberate product decision. So it's not an accident. So what I find fascinating as a designer in this, both these apps have made clear choices about who they are designing for. So they are not trying to be everything to everyone, and that focus shows. So this is actually the most important UX lesson from this comparison. So as a UX designer, your job is not to make something perfect for everyone. So your job is to make something perfect for someone. Be specific. So Swiggy choose speed and efficiency. Zomato choose discovery and emotion. So both are legitimate. So both are intentional. So great UX is not about adding more features. It is about being ruthlessly clear about who you are designing for. By the way, if you want to learn how to think this way about any product you use, so this is exactly what we teach at Aspira. So we call it as product thinking. It is not just about making screens look good. It is about understanding why design decisions are made. So what business problem they solve, what user emotions they are addressing. So every batch at Aspera does this kind of breakdown. So we take the real apps like a Swiggy, Zomato, Zepto, PhonePe, and we dissect them the way I just did. Because that is how you become a UX designer who thinks, not just someone who can use Figma. So if you want to learn more about Aspera or join the next batch, so links in the description. So before I go, I want to know your take. So which app do you use more? Swiggy or Zomato? And after watching this video, did you notice something you haven't before? So drop it in the comment section. So I read everyone. And if you want to see more of these kind of a UX breakdowns, so I have got a PhonePe with GPay is coming up next. Also, I have the Uber with Ola with Rapido as a part two. So you will see the same kind of thinking apply to different apps. So if this video gave you a new way to look at apps you use every day, right? So subscribe. So that is exactly the kind of a content I make here. So once again, I'm Rambal. So I will catch you soon with another meaningful topic. Until then, bye bye.